Well, tonight we're here and we're invited to see brokenness through God's eyes. But before we begin, I want to recognize that there are many issues of pain, conflict, suffering, war, all around the world. So we see you, Haiti, Myanmar, Sudan, Colombia, just to name a few. And in a panel like this, we try to squeeze in quite a bit in a very short time frame, which means that leaves some room for misunderstanding. And please be gracious. If we do not completely do justice to one side, we want to acknowledge the suffering of all. I'm humbled to be here with my sister and my brothers, who I see as agents of peace and reconciliation in very, very hard places. To me, you are the courageous ministers of reconciliation and yet humble servants of God. And through your lives and stories, I hope we can all catch a glimpse of God at work in our world in very tangible ways. So I'm going to get them to just do a very brief introduction of themselves and then tell us how you got into the work of reconciliation. I'll start with Daniel. Yeah.
Thank you, Simon. I'm Daniel Kyungu Chikala from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm the Bishop of Africa Inland Church, Congo, also a professor of management at Lubumbashi University. Yeah, I've been interested in the area of reconciliation, in the issue of disability, after myself caught the disability when I have 11-year-old and lived in a war zone many years without my family. It was an opportunity for God to teach me in those hard conditions how to love and to help others to have joy. And that is my work in the DRC.
Thank you, Daniel. Rula, can you just give a brief introduction?
Okay. My name is Rula Mansour. I'm a Palestinian Christian with an ancient root in the Holy Land. My name is Kouri Mansour, which means the name Kouri is my family name. In Arabic, it means priest. I belong to the Palestinians who became refugees in their own land in 1948 and later on became second-class citizens in Israel. My story is one of resilience, seeking for peace in a land torn by conflict. My peace-building journey started when I was a law student. This is where God started to show me my role as a bridge builder in two opposing worlds, as being Palestinian and Israeli at the same time. He was showing me the way to become a bridge. Later on, after I finished law school, I started my journey in becoming a public prosecutor. I was determined at the time to try to influence the legal system from the inside. I spent 13 years in the public prosecution office. I served all communities in Israel, Jews, Palestinian Christian, and Palestinian Muslim. Living the words, do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly, helped me more and more understand my role as a bridge builder. But I soon realized that our conflict ran deeper than a legal system can address. And this led me to pursue my PhD in reconciliation theology. I wanted to understand how Christ's teaching on truth, forgiveness, and justice can bring healing into our broken land. With this in mind, I started a peace ministry called Nazareth Center for Peace Studies. We work at the grassroots level, trying to train individuals and communities as peace builders through our research and through our training and teaching. But also, we are committed to transforming hearts and minds and promote forgiveness and justice beyond revenge, love beyond hatred, and inclusion beyond exclusion.
Thank you, Rula. We're looking forward to hear a little bit more shortly. How about here, Ivan? Can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
My name is Ivan Rusin. I am from Ukraine. I am leading the Ukrainian Evangelical Theological Seminary. First of all, I want to say thank you, dear brothers and sisters, for opening your countries, your homes, and your hearts to my fellow citizens who are refugees now in your countries. So thank you very much for your love and your generosity. Frankly speaking, peacemaking is a very hard word for me, because we are in the middle of the full-scale war. So now we are trying to define what peacemaking, biblical peacemaking, authentic peacemaking is about. And I hope that the experience of the global church will be helpful for us as well.
I appreciate you for being here. We look forward to hear more from you shortly. And finally, Emmanuel, tell us.
Well, my name is Emmanuel Ndikumana. I was born and I live in Burundi, the twin country to Rwanda. We are south to Rwanda, but in terms of who we are and our history, it's exactly the same as Rwanda. So true that most people know the pains and the suffering that the Rwandans have gone through, but it's just the same as in Burundi. It's only that in Rwanda it was too dramatic that it overshadowed what was going on. So, yeah, that home, a home of suffering, of conflict, of pain, that's where I was born and shaped. And my life as a Christian is always wondering and asking myself, what does it mean to be a follower of Christ in such kind of context?
Thank you, Emmanuel. We hope to hear a little bit more about that shortly. Thank you. Well, let's start with Rula. I think this word reconciliation, we have used it several times. In your context, what does that look like really?
Well, Simon, let me start with a simple truth. This conflict is not just about land, borders, and ancient claims. It's about ordinary people, both Palestinian and Israelis, who are caught in its complexity and suffer from its tragedies. These people hope for dignity, for security, for self-determination, and a place to call home. Sadly, much of the voices that dominated this kind of conflict is dominated by voices of hatred, revenge, extremism, and division from both sides. But what really saddened me is that it's sometimes coming from some Christian circles. But this is not the whole story. There's another way to look at this problem. There's another way to solve it. It might be a little bit naive to speak about it, but this is the way God wants us to look at it. I think reconciliation, it's the key. Reconciliation, it's a divine mandate. And I believe that true peace, it's not the absence of conflict. It's about transforming also relationships. So reconciliation is the move from divided past to a shared future. The slides.
And when you say the word reconciliation is a divine mandate, I feel like that frames for us such a critical foundation to start from. Can you tell us a little bit more why you see that as the path to peace?
So I see that reconciliation, in order to move from our divided past to our shared future, we need to search for truth, forgiveness, justice, and healing. These are the main aspects and concepts for reconciliation. And let's start with truth. In our conflict, everyone has an exclusive ownership of truth. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows what it's the truth. But if we keep on thinking about it this way, we will be trapped in a blame and revenge cycle. And so we need the move from truth owning to truth seeking. And this requires humility that we might not have the full picture, or even we might be misinformed. And so we need to have the willingness also to listen to the other perspective and learn what exactly is going on from the other side, even if this perspective challenges our identity and convictions. Truth commissions, for example, show that healing starts with honesty, with truth-telling. It's moving beyond narratives that perpetuate victimhood and anger to a shared narrative, or even mutually acknowledge varied histories. And this is for truth, shared truth. But after that, we have forgiveness. And you know, Simon, forgiveness is the hardest part. It's very hard to ask people who went through tragedies or mass killing to forgive. It seems like offensive, maybe. But never forgive, never forget seems that it's the only way that we honor people's pain. But also holding into this mindset, it only deepens the wounds. So forgiveness, it's not letting go of the past. It's not forgetting the past. It's not letting go of justice. Forgiveness enthrones justice. It creates room for healing and truth-telling. It is the space between enmity and reconciliation, where we start to see the enemy as a human again. Forgiveness is not a sign of weakness. Forgiveness is part of the larger strategy to overcome evil with good. So it is a kingdom strategy that we use in order to overcome evil with good. And then comes justice. Justice heals. Many times we think that justice is only about punishment, But justice heals. Biblical justice heals. By restoring dignity, holding wrongdoer accountable, and repairing what's wrong. Lasting peace requires addressing systemic injustice, root cause of conflict, and also ensuring just resolution to the conflict for all sides. Without justice, peace is hollow. But without forgiveness, justice may be another weapon in the struggle. And then,
Yes.
in some countries, in different countries that use restorative justice as part of healing on the national scales, and we can name many, like Rwanda, Sierra Leone, South Africa. In this Truth Commission, they try to achieve three main goals which are important: documented atrocity, acknowledging pain, holding perpetrator accountable, but also all of these is done under the purpose of reconciliation. So the goal is achieve justice, but by the end, achieve reconciliation. And the last thing is shared future. Shared after addressing root cause and seeking just solution, healing is very important, and it comes to reconcile past suffering with present realities. Genuine apologies, reparation, both symbolic and material, raising awareness, public awareness, are very important to healing. Reconciliation is essential for a shared future, starting with truth-telling and dialogue, acknowledging wrongdoing and pain, embracing forgiveness, committing to justice, and healing. It builds the foundation for a better future and for a shared future. Yes. And finally, people in Gaza, people in the West Bank, people in Israel, and people in Lebanon are suffering now. The church in the Middle East, and I guess I'm speaking on behalf of them right now, be with us. We refuse to lose hope. We keep going and pressing on peace, working in the valley with Jesus. Will you be able to achieve shared truth with us? Would you be willing to join into creating spaces of forgiveness? Will you be willing to advocate for ending the war and bringing to a just solution for all parties? Be with us. We need you as our global family.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Rula. I appreciate your heart, and I know it's a really difficult thing to unpack, but you gave us some really helpful frameworks to think through. I would like to quickly move